it's okay as adults to tell another adult, look, I don't like what you're doing. I don't like what's going on. I don't like how you present yourself. And tell them exactly what's bothering you. Because a lot of times in relationships, we don't set a standard. We don't. Men, a friend of mine came on my post and made a comment and said, most black men have issues out of black women. And, he was like, look up the statistics and look up this and that and blah, 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 and all this other stuff. They feel like once we get the majority, we're going to treat them how they treated us. And what they don't know is we are a compassionate people and we are a people of God. That is why God took us through these curses, because we broke our commandments with God, our covenants with God. What I'm excited about is the fact that now we have a rivalry going on. We have a rivalry. We have two women, two different schools. One is a predominantly, I'm going to just say it's a predominantly white school, white institution. LSU is a predominantly black institution. But we have this rivalry. What's good, y'all? Fat Boy Chronicles was cracking. What's good with you, Derek?
I'm good, man. What's going on?
Not too much, man. Just got in, man. It's been a crazy, hectic day, bro.
Okay.
It's been a crazy whirlwind. I appreciate y'all tuning in. That's what's up. I love it. Thank y'all. Thank y'all to the supporters, too. The ones that's been supporting since day one. Thank you so much. So, today's topic. This is a controversial one, Derek. This is a controversial one, man.
Listen, I went over with BJ yesterday. We were going back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And, I've been with the school board now for it's going on 6 years almost.
Okay.
And 5.5 years actually. And I had to get all my stuff, my credentials and everything, like my background checks and all that. Like when you're around children, you have to understand that children have so many rights and adults have so little.
Correct.
Right. So what my argument was yesterday was what BJ was like, you are an adult. So by the law, you're supposed to have enough common sense or enough structure or discipline to discipline a child without physical force, which is hard.
Okay.
But you're trained and you go to college with a set, curriculum and, a scholastic background enough to deal with children, at that level. So when a child gets physical, like in the case of the situation we have there, you have to. There's ways to restrain him. They have classes and stuff like that. Now, don't get it wrong. If the child is twice your size, you call climate, right? That's what climate job is. And even then, climate's job is still, it depends on the rules and regulations of the school district or whatever the case may be. This is the Philadelphia school district I work for. Right. But there are ways to restrain a child. Well, those might be good for a child in elementary, 1 to 5, that weigh under 50 pounds or weigh up to almost 100. But the average woman is 100 to 150, maybe anywhere under 200, right?
Yes.
So how she was going to restrain somebody who is just her height with more energy, because kids have more energy, and without either hurting him or, because she could slip and fall, whatever. But man. Right. So my situation, my thing is, if you're an adult and you're a teacher, expect to deal with a child, discipline a child, on the grounds that you lay out. This is your classroom.
Right. If
she's going behind your desk, somehow authority and discipline, it was not specified. That's not a word, but it wasn't explained or dictated. Right. Yeah. It dictated from the gate. It wasn't saying, hey, this is the boundary. You're a child. I'm the teacher. Don't disrespect me. This is my classroom. You have to lay down the law. And that's not easy. That little girl did not respect that lady in that right. So while the child was wrong, the responsibility should be placed on the parent. But once you're a teacher, You put your hands on that child, you are now liable.
Okay. I'm on a different side of the coin on this one. I know you work for the school district and stuff like that.
And I'm just a cleaner. That's what's crazy. I'm just a cleaner. But we are not allowed to do anything with the children.
Right. Yeah, that's pretty much standard. You know what I'm saying? I'm on the opposite side of this though.
Okay.
Because this is the reason why.
Mm-hmm.
We're seeing way too many incidents of these, I hate to say it, these I ain't gonna call them bad kids. I'm gonna call them misguided kids.
Okay.
These misguided kids who are not getting the proper home training.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them aren't. Let's just be honest. They're not getting the proper home training. These parents are working crazy hours. All they can literally do is give them shoes, PS5s, and an Apple phone, iPhone.
Okay.
Literally. So there's no discipline anymore inside of the home. So these kids, and then on top of that, with a lot of these kids deal with mental health. A lot of these kids, and people don't understand this, and these kids are doing this. They're smoking a lot of weed.
Right.
A lot.
Right.
And what it's doing is chemically, when they're not able to have that consistently on a consistent basis, people don't know weed changes your attitude when you don't have enough of it.
Right.
So they might have not gotten a smoke that day or whatever the case is, and they just go into the classroom just wilding out on the teachers. I've seen way too many incidents lately of this. These kids do not understand. A lot of these teachers are my age. I'm in my 40s.
Right, I am too.
And a lot of these teachers are in my age range, 35 to 30. Some of them younger.
Right.
But we come from a different generation. We come from the Nuck If You Bucks generation.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about.
Right, I know.
So, you know, when somebody step in your face, especially somebody that's your size, your height, and all that,
right,
there's no back down. There's literally like, I'm going at it. So in this particular situation with the young lady, I understood what she was saying because I seen the whole video. I understood. She's like, well, if you're going to make that rule for one person, you need to make it for everybody.
Right.
But then on the other hand, you might have been a little more disruptive than everybody else.
Right.
So because of that, she took her phone, but the little girl was out of pocket. You don't swing on nobody and then tell the teacher, I'm going to get my effing phone. Like that's unacceptable. Yes, I hear what you're saying. And that is a rule. That is across the board. You don't put your hands on students.
Right.
But in this case, she really didn't put a hand. The young lady smacked her. I mean, what do you do in that situation?
Okay, so I hear what you're saying. My whole argument was, first of all, a lot of these classrooms are a little bit crowded.
Absolutely.
And there's one teacher to 20 to almost 30 kids, almost, depending on the size of the class. Okay, so especially in elementary. So I don't know if this was middle school or I think, was it high school?
I believe it was high school.
Okay, so you're dealing with young women and men. So in this case, a young woman. And what happens is that teacher had at least 50, maybe 60 pounds on that little girl. Now, the girl might have been as tall as the teacher, but in the eyes of the law and in the eyes of the school district, you're the adult. So you have to show some type of restraint and discipline. So if she hits you, first of all, I told you what I'd have done. That girl would have hit me.
Yeah. Hold on real quick, bro. Hold on real quick.
Go ahead.
We go run the video.
Go ahead.
We go run the video right
quick. Not apply to everybody else. That's my phone. No, you did not keep nobody else's phone. And you finna give me my shit. Don't touch me. That's on my mom. Don't touch me. Girl, don't touch me. Girl, don't touch me.
Well, he hit her first. I see that. The teacher hit her
I did
first.
see that.
The teacher hit her first. So she lost that. Even if it wasn't. No, listen. At this point, you better have your union because you're in trouble.
Let me tell you though.
Get a teacher. Somebody get a teacher.
At this point, that little girl could be unconscious.
Get a teacher. Get a teacher.
Yo.
Get a teacher.
Look, listen.
Get a teacher.
There's so many things you can say about this video.
Get a teacher. What the fuck is wrong with y'all? Get a teacher.
Listen,
Yo.
now, hold on. She did get in her space, but once that teacher put her hands on the child, she is now liable. If the teacher would have set her seat and she would have still continued to try to get the cell phone, and she was like, "Don't put your hands on me." Once that happened, and I turned my back because there's ways you can listen.
Oh,
I'm not
wait. Hold on now, because I'm just seeing this part. The young lady reached for that phone and she did touch the teacher. So when she was reaching for that phone, she grabbed the teacher. She was touching the teacher.
We're arguing over semantics for real. But
I'm just saying.
Yeah, the whole point is the teacher struck the student, harm or whatever, and that's where the teacher was wrong by the regulations and rules of the school district, right?
Right.
The kid was going to be disciplined regardless because the kid should not be behind the desk. The kid should not have been in the teacher's face, and she disregarded the teacher's authority. So climate should have came in. And somebody should have went and got the climate. This is why you need it. This is why you need a what is it called? The teacher's aid. You need it in high school.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Right.
Teacher's
aid. The teacher's aid would have been able to restrain her. Because the teacher's aid would probably be part of climate. Restrain her. You got to go to the principal's office. And that would have been that. She's no longer allowed in my classroom. If she is, I'll go to my union. That's why the union is important. I tell people all the time, when you have a job, when you're doing the nuances of the job, the union is there to have your back. That's why you pay union dues. I'm sorry. Right. I am advocating for every job to have a union because you need job security. Because in states like that, you might be. What if that lady was going through a divorce? What if that lady was going through whatever? Her son had cancer or something like that. She might have really hurt that little girl. At best, the little girl's whistling, and the lady embarrassed herself because she done exposed herself. What the hell? You got no damn panties on? You know what? I'm sorry.
I don't know what that was about. But
you are a teacher. You're supposed to be kind of moral, compass in the room.
It's what BJ's saying. BJ's saying the same thing I'm saying. The kid instigated the situation. Yes, I hear you. The adult, you're an adult in that situation. Yes,
you have to be an adult and disciplined.
You gotta be an adult.
Right.
Stop acting like the kid.
Because that parent can sue the lady now because she's still a teacher.
Correct.
And the parent 9 times out of 10 will win. Because they're gonna be like,
all right, back. That's a fact. That's a fact.
They're gonna be like, well, you were the teacher. Why didn't you, if she, because first of all, that little girl really couldn't. She could hurt the teacher unless she had like an object in her hand or something like that. She couldn't really hurt. That girl that lady had like 50 pounds on her. Let's say 30. Let's say 30. The lady is
about 30. Yeah.
That's not a small child, but she's still a little girl, and that's a grown woman. That woman been to some things. Whatever she did, she ain't got no. Anyway, oh god. So anyway, my whole point is you can't stoop to the child's level because now people want to try you and they're gonna get you in trouble. That lady, she lucky she might not have a job because now you're once you do something, you strike a kid. Now is a record. The teacher got in a physical altercation with a child. She didn't go by the right protocols and steps to negate the situation. This is what happened. Now you're abusing the child. You might not be able to teach anymore.
Right.
I'm just looking at it from the law standpoint or rule standpoint because when you go into an establishment, whether it's a school, the courtroom, a CEO of a company or a businessman in a company, you have to protect your own butt. That's all you have to do in that case.
That's true. That's true.
But
you have to protect your behind.
You have to protect your behind and leave it to the union. Because I gather she was, she has the school union. Depending on how strong you or whatever the case, but leave it liable so that you're not liable, so that you can get out of this unscathed.
Right.
Because it's your livelihood. Teachers want to teach because they want to teach, not because of the pay.
Right.
You get a
Right.
pension,
Right.
you live the rest of your life, whatever.
Right.
But you gotta protect yourself. In that situation, that teacher was she was wrong. She wasn't dead wrong. She was wrong. But you have to show discipline and restraint.
So here's the thing. Like I was saying earlier, it goes deeper than just the young lady attacking the teacher, because there's incidents. Literally, there's incidents of the student getting up. There was one incident where this young man kept calling this black dude, I think he was a Hispanic young man, and he kept calling him the N-word. So, and the teacher just was like, I need you to back up. I need you to get out my face. He's constantly asking this young man to back up. And the young man just moving forward, and then he just start fighting with him. And it's like,
listen, right here. What if she bangs her head and the girl dies? What happens then? Is the teacher not liable?
Of course she's liable, but this is the thing. But we're talking about the liable adult and the liability.
Was that lady's life in danger? Was that lady's life in danger?
She don't know.
No. I'm asking you personal opinion. Was that lady's life in danger?
At that particular moment, no.
Okay.
No.
So at that particular moment, no. You once you what's the name? Because at this point the girl lost. If the girl continues to try to fight, you hold, like she held her down and go get her what's the name. What you should have did was let her strike you. And like, did a Karen. And if she want to get the phone, it is recorded that the little girl hit me first. That little girl should have been suspended, expelled, or whatever, not in the ladies' classroom anymore. And then if nothing would have happened, I would have went to my union or I got a lawyer and I would sue the parents.
I'm finna go deep. I'm finna go deep for a second. I'm gonna go deep for a second. All right. So here's the thing. This is the honest truth. Like I was saying earlier, these kids are out of control. Especially these teenagers. These teenagers have this attitude that they don't respect authority. That's right off the rip.
Right.
They don't respect authority. They don't follow direction. They don't like people telling them what to do.
Right.
They walk around like they know everything.
Right.
They swear up and down that they're the smartest ones in the room. Like, my 40 years on this planet don't matter. You know what I'm saying? So these is how these teenage kids walk around. And then the parents are so, you can't discipline your kid like that anymore. Because now these kids have so much agency. They have so many numbers they can call, or the police. So a lot of times if they call the police, especially if you're a black parent, you're going to jail.
Right.
That's real. That's just a fact. So these teachers, this is why there's a teacher shortage. This is why there's no TAs. You know what I'm saying? There's nobody that wants to readily teach. Number one, they're not getting paid enough. And then number two, I got to deal with your smart mouth, overly aggressive child. Like, that's ridiculous. And I hear what you're saying about the liability and she's an adult. Absolutely. There's another way to handle that. But at the same time, when you're in that situation, and a lot of times, let's just say, like you said, let's just say she didn't put her hand on the girl. Let's just say she let the girl smack her. Let's just say the girl hit her hard enough where she fall and hit her head. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just
hey, that's the risk you take. Listen, you know what's crazy? If a child, two children are fighting, the rules to engage, children, they're fighting, you have to really be careful, because if you grab them and then they're struck or whatever, because you grab them to pull them apart, even then you're liable. It's so many rules against disciplinarians. Yeah, and it's just with my whole personal opinion of that is like you call for climate control, and you really can't get involved. And listen, they could be tearing each other apart. Teachers really have restrictions on what they can do when it comes to
you're not lying.
breaking up a fight, and it's so unfair and it's so like one-sided. But you just have to be on your P's and Q's. That's why it's good to have a union. I'm not getting a job without a union. I'm sorry, especially dealing with
I
children.
totally agree with you. I'm
Yes.
I was in the union before I did home care, so I was in the
Okay.
union, and I love being in the union. They gave us bonuses at the end of the year and all kinds of stuff.
Right. It's for
I
our
love
protection. I'm sorry.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anywhere where you dealing with the public, you need something to have your job. You have your back. You're not 100% all the time going to school, and it's a stressful job as a teacher in the first place. You're dealing with kids who are malnourished. You're dealing with kids who are undisciplined, and parents are on drugs or divorce, abusive parents. You're like, they do all this mess, and they bring it to school, and it's a shame on the child, but that's not my problem. My job is to teach.
Teach, exactly. Right. I'm not a counselor. Right.
That lady, I ain't gonna lie, if that lady put their hands on my daughter, I would have probably been upset. My lady would have probably tried to take her life.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And because I couldn't hit her, because then I'll go to jail for assault on a woman.
Absolutely.
Right. But you got to look at it from both sides of the viewpoint.
Right.
And when you look at that, you cannot just put your hands on a child like that, even because she lost her temper. Because if she would have continued, she lost her temper, and that's unprofessional. They tell you not to hit your kid out of anger. You don't.
Yeah, you can't hit other kids out of anger. Yeah, man.
Right. Once again, that lady, she could have been incredibly strong. She could have been a former athlete and knocked that kid clean out. And now she's in a coma, and then the parents are definitely going to sue. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But that lady should have just. I know that everybody's saying, "Oh, she's black and she did what she's supposed to do and knock that little kid out." That kid won't put it. I said that kid gonna try you again. Trust me.
Oh, that's a fact.
Especially if nothing happens to the child. If nothing happens to the child,
she's not gonna be able to teach now.
Well, it depends how it goes. If she has good union and good backup, the kid did approach her and aggressive. So she might. They just might have. Sometimes unions they just put you place you somewhere else.
But see, that's what I saw on the video was that the teacher got hit first. In my eyes, that's how I felt. But then now I'm seeing it now, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Listen. So when I first started working for the school board, I had my supervisor. So my supervisor, right? She worked for the special ed class. No, I'm sorry. No, learning disability. Learning disability.
Right.
Learning disability. Right. So there's a bad little kid in there. He's about 10 years old. And what happened was he used to come by and he used to wreak havoc. So he spit in the teacher's face. Teacher didn't do anything. And she was like, "Oh, why you do that?" So the next day he said, "Miss such and such, I'm gonna kick you." He said, "Don't you kick me." I'm telling you, I just gonna be a problem.
Don't do it. Yeah. And
so
he
kicked her, and she jagged him the quickest jab.
Yeah, because these kids. Let's just be real. Let's keep it real right now, Derek. Let's keep it real.
Listen, hold on.
These
I'm not
are some ghetto babies.
Hold on. She said she gave him the quickest jab. Guess what the teacher did? She did not have her back. She said, "I got to report you." They wound up switching her because the mom came up there and the father came in. They ready to rumble.
No.
So she's like, "What? That little boy spit in your face and I had your back and you could." She said, "You struck a kid." But the kid came back 20 years later and said, "I remember you and I apologize for doing that. You changed my whole life around after that."
Right.
They had to get her out of there, so they protected her and they sent her to custodial, and she was a custodian ever since.
Man, let me tell you though, bro. Let's be real. These kids, these some ghetto babies.
Yeah.
Let's keep it real. These some hood babies. We can even go further, bro, and let's go deeper than that. Let's talk about mental health.
Yeah.
These babies are suffering from anxiety, depression. Some of them live in the hood. They hear gunshots all day long, police sirens. They could be getting SA'd at home, physically abused, all kind of stuff is going on with these kids. That's why I said, I feel, because I'm a parent too. I got a 14-year-old, so I feel for the kids in that sense, in a lot of the sense of the mental health part of it, and they possibly need to get that out. But at the same time, I'm like you said earlier, that's not my job. You know what I'm saying? Like that, I'm not a counselor. I'm not a therapist.
Right. When you take as a teacher, you are that. You are the kid. You might be the only kid's sanity in the entire week. You might be the angel God sent to Kate. I'm in trouble. Help. Yeah. If kids come to school and they got black eyes or weed in their bag or food in their arm, when you're a cleaner, when you're a teacher, when you're a teacher's aide climate, you're first responder. You have to say something. I think you have to say something. It's part of your job. If you don't, you get in trouble.
I didn't notice that that she didn't have no drawers on. I didn't see that.
But the whole point was when you stoop down to her level, to the kid's level, now you are definitely liable. Right. If the lady would have cursed her out, said, "Shut your dumb ass down in the chair," you might be able to combat that, and they might have just, I'll write you up or something like that for cursing at a child for being undisciplined. But it's just words. And even then, you really have to be careful. But once you strike a kid, I'm like, ooh.
But see, this goes into another situation too. Let's say it's I'm a grown man and I'm a pretty big dude. So let's say I'm in high school and a 17, 18-year-old dude on the football team about 250, 6'5". Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, he come up, I take his phone. He coming up, he trying to swing on me. I ain't gonna let that big old dude swing on me.
Like, in that scenario,
like, it's a rough thing, bro. It's a rough thing that like, in the situation, in the heat of the moment, it's hard to be like, oh, well, let me do it the right way. In that moment, you're thinking like, okay, she's all in my face. What do I need to do in this situation? What do I do?
You're saying I gotta protect myself. You're saying, hey, this dude might actually hurt me. Absolutely. Right. But he say you're not in the union. He strikes you. First of all, he's getting kicked off the team. Because if he's not, I'm gonna sue.
That's a fact.
Second of all, he's probably getting himself to school. Right. Now that's not the likelihood, because a lot of kids have a lot of stuff to protect them. But there's no way you're gonna tell me that he disciplined for putting his hands on me. And if you're not, I'm suing. Right. We live in a country of law, so now it's time to get my lawyer. That's crazy.
Right, man.
But yeah.
It's just
so to me, in that scenario.
To me, it's just I just look at it differently, because like I said, we come from a totally different. We're from the same generation. So we just come from that generation where you nuck if you buck. So like I said, I get what you're saying about the adult and the teacher, and there's laws and different things. I totally respect that. But at the same time, I'm still sitting here like
Monday.
These kids literally.
I'm sorry, work. Yeah. Go ahead.
Hold on 1 second.
Go ahead.
So yeah, these kids literally don't have, like I said, they don't have the discipline, they don't have the teaching, they don't have the rearing, they don't have an adult in the home, and then these adults act just like these kids sometimes.
But so kids, even if they got all that, listen, even if they have all that,
they're not getting raised properly. That's really what it boils down to.
Listen, there's nobody that's over the age of 10 that don't know you ain't supposed to put your hands on your teacher. So
yes, everybody know that.
Even if you're undisciplined, you know better. But my whole thing is
raising kids, exactly, BJ.
Right. I just said all that, but let's not act like she wasn't a baby, but she's a child. So
I mean, let's say she was about 14, 15 years old. So yes, yes, absolutely. But I still feel like at the end of the day, Yes, you're absolutely right. Don't put your hand on anybody's kids. Don't do nothing. Don't do that. It's not cool. But at the same time, I get it. And like I said, it goes deeper. It goes to the drugs that these kids take. These kids pop pills.
Right.
They pop Molly, Percocets,
Right.
all kind of stuff.
Vaping.
You know what I'm saying? Oxys, all kind of stuff. They take medications.
Right.
They smoke weed all day. Some of them even snort powder and do all kind of other stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy. These kids, there's no discipline to them. And then, like BJ just said, it's kids raising kids. Because mentally, you can be our age mentally or physically, but mentally, you're still 20, 25 years old.
Right.
You know, but you got a whole child that you raising, but because your parents didn't know how to raise you right, now you raising your child how you raising them, and then they're running up on teachers and doing. Let's say, and I hope this does not happen. I pray this don't happen.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say one day one of these students run up on the teacher, and the teacher got heat on them, and the teacher's just like F.
Well, that was the situation with the little boy when he shot the kindergarten teacher. How did he get a 6-year-old get a gun?
What is that?
Right.
What is that?
In that scenario, I'm telling my friend, because me and my friend was talking about it. How did he get out the house with a firearm in his backpack?
But this is what I'm saying. This is the parents not paying attention to the children. This is the parents not checking. See, when I was a kid, I couldn't walk around my house and just be on the phone. Yeah. I couldn't just hide in my room and you can't come in my room, mom or dad.
Right.
No,
it's
my
boom.
mama. When I left for school, my mama was in my room.
Right.
When I wasn't at home, my mama was in my room. My mama checked my backpack every day. She made sure that I had everything that I was supposed to have in there. Anything that I wasn't, I was getting in trouble for it. These parents don't do that anymore. Why? Because they're working 12 and 15-hour shifts.
Right.
And Dennis, what are you talking about, dude? But these parents are working 12 and 15-hour shifts. Right. And they don't got time to be sitting there. Oh, let me check your homework. Let me check your backpack. Let me look under your bed.
If you got time to check your man's phone, like Claire Huxtable saying on memes, you got time to check your kid's homework.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
You got time. Listen,
Dennis.
You got time to check your what is it called? Your DraftKings. You got time to check your kid's phone. Your kids can work. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's time. Listen. I'm gonna tell you like Homer Simpson. He said, man, you work 8 hours a day and come home. He said you gotta fit in some time with the children and still have enough time for ESPN. Homer Simpson is the greatest father of all time. This dude is a pinnacle of fatherhood.
Yes, literally, exactly.
Oh, man.
That's exactly what fatherhood is. Parenthood, literally, because we're at home, we're at work.
You listen.
We got to deal with the supervisor. We got to deal with crazy people.
Right.
Then on top of that, we got to come home and deal with our kids' craziness.
Right.
They need attention. We got to cook. We got to clean.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
Right.
Bananas. But at the same time, I still say my mama had to do it. It's a lot of other parents out here that's doing it.
Right.
They gotta go out. They have to go out here and raise these babies. I go back to this comedian. I can't remember his name right now. His name slips my mind. But he has this tag where it says, "Who raised you?"
Right.
And I'm like, that's a perfect tag, because you look at these kids and you be like, can I speak to your mama and your daddy?
Right.
Because it's literally these kids have no fear of nothing.
Right.
They don't even look past. When I was younger, I looked at the age that I am now and like, oh yeah, I can't wait till I get to that age, because then I'm grown.
Right.
But these kids don't even look past 18. Now some of them don't even look past 13 to 15.
Right.
Because it's so much, number one, it's so much saturation on the internet. It's so much, I got to prove a point. I'm not no punk. You know, no kids hardly ever go to the other side and just be like, I don't want to be like them dudes. I want to be like them dudes. Like when I was a kid, I just never followed the rough dudes. I always went the opposite direction because I was like, I know where you're going to be in 10 years. Let me go over here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And these kids don't have that now. Like literally that young lady, I felt like, yes, she wanted her phone. And it's another thing. Let's talk about these phones with these kids.
Right.
These kids, I don't know what it is about these phones and these kids, but these kids, you cannot detach them from that phone. When you detach them or cut that internet off,
they'll go crazy.
Bruh, I got 2 teenagers in my house right now. Let me go on that app and turn that Wi-Fi off. They come out the room like roaches.
Listen, like Kevin Hart said.
Wait. What happened? What happened?
Like Kevin Hart said, Dad, the Wi-Fi down. Wi-Fi down, Dad.
Yeah, Wi-Fi down. They can't. Oh my God. I had a Wi-Fi down about a couple months ago, man. And
I have 2
these kids
autistic
came
children
to my room 20 times over.
I hear you. I have 2 autistic children at home.
Yep. Then you already know,
listen,
brother.
my son has a conniption when the Wi-Fi down. He be like, "It's slow, Dad. It's slow,
it's
man."
Like crack.
Out. Right.
It's crack.
But they want everything to be perfect, especially a structured person that was dealing with Asperger's and dealing with autism. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, man. I feel for you too. I pray for you too, bro. That I know how that could be. I know how that could be.
But the teacher in this situation, as I said, her only thing was she didn't go about the right way. And all logic
protocol. Right.
She got to go by protocol. That's listen, I don't care where you work at, whether it's with the union or you're a sheet metal worker or whatever. Anytime you are dealing with the public, you go by protocol. Because if protocol leaves you, that means mistakes are happening. That's why you can't get drunk on the job. That's why if a teacher is drinking on a job and she hurt somebody or whatever, she's going to jail.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know better than to come to work drunk. You know that.
Right. But a lot of teachers do come to work drunk. A lot of custodians come to work drunk. Yeah. Well, used to. They can't do it now because they do random drug tests now.
Yep, they sure do.
The only thing about it is they have places where you can go. You get you get help. Yeah, that's what's cool about it. But anyway. You've really got to just be on your P's and Q's. You cannot touch children, man. That's like a hidden taboo. Cannot do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Listen, go pray for her because she's like, I said, I don't know. It's just not worth my job. If I'm ready to quit, then yeah, I'm going all out.
Oh, then yeah. I'm a nuck if it bugs.
Right.
I'm finding out that she's that she actually was a substitute. She wasn't the regular teacher.
Okay.
So even in that sense, like I hear what you're saying, go protocol, do whatever. But she probably in that instance, she was like, I'm only gonna be here for a day. I'm really not giving a damn.
Right.
I'm gonna pop the hell out this little girl if she come in my face the wrong way. So
right.
That's probably where she was at mentally. But I hear what you're saying though. Keep your hands off kids. But also we gotta put this out here too. All teenage kids, period. Stop putting yourself in situations with grown people. That gotta stop. Kids walking up on grown people, kids swinging on grown people, calling grown people MFs and out their name, N-words, carrying on. Every teacher, every adult is not gonna react to you how your parent acts to you.
Right.
So kids, if there's anybody with kids and got this watching, please tell your kids to stay out of grown people's face.
Right, exactly.
Literally. I was told that as a kid. I don't know if you were, but
I definitely was.
Yeah,
listen, you know what's crazy?
Stay out of grown people's face.
I tell my kids all the time, the world don't love you like I do. They'll blow your head off real quick.
In an instant.
Listen, and don't bank on everybody playing by the rules too.
Nope.
Because then they looking at you like you crazy. Well, you were crazy putting your hands on an adult.
Yep. Let me tell you too, Derek. Let me tell you too real quick before we get up out of here. We're going to get up out of here in a minute. But let me tell you too, another thing that I just heard recently was the internet has allowed kids to be in grown people's conversation.
Right.
Because at the end, you know, when we were kids and we were walked over to a grown people conversation, we were told to go on about our business.
Right.
You know, but these kids are so privy to grown people's stuff.
Right.
And they're not developmentally ready to accept these, you know, conversations and hear these conversations, and grown people are not telling them, hey, this is not for kids, this is for grown people. Then, like I said, it's porn all on the internet. It's all kind of stuff that they can get themselves into, that they shouldn't have to get themselves into, but they do. It's just a lot. It's a lot that culminated in what happened with this young lady and other young folks that's doing this with teachers. It's a lot of kids and grown-ups. I'm telling you, stop letting your kids sit amongst grown people conversation, because some of the stuff that we talk about is not for children. They're not ready to consume that yet. Not even in their spirit or in their heart. They're not ready for that. So,
and not just that, it's about respecting your elders.
Absolutely. At the end of the day, that young lady was very disrespectful to that woman. And that woman was out of pocket for putting her hand, but that young lady was very disrespectful. I'd be damn if a teenager go tell me, oh, I'm going to get my MF and phone. No, you not. I'll throw your phone out the window. Like, don't play with me.
I was about to say that. Like, what if she broke the little girl's phone? The little girl would have snapped, and then hey, look.
But then after that, if she snapped, that's on you, little girl. I told you not to reach. Now I done threw your phone out the window. What, you gonna fire me for that? Get out of here.
Listen, but no, well, you have to pay for the cell phone now. So
oh well, I just have to pay for the phone, but you not finna call me no MF.
Right.
That's not happening.
Right. But you know what? As I said, it's protocol when it comes down to it, and you're a professional.
Right.
And I think people really don't pay attention to what professional means. You know, if you're an amateur, if you're a person that homeschools and you don't have no type of schooling or background or whatever the case may be, then I guess that's not accepted, but it's understandable. But when you're a professional, you have to be a professional in all things, especially being a teacher. And you cannot lose your cool, because it might be that one time when you really hurt or kill somebody. People don't realize a fight only lasts a few seconds. Hell, it takes a moment to take somebody's life.
Yeah.
And that little girl, listen, I understand that, she was being bad and stuff like that, but she's supposed to be above all that.
Yep. It's like you just said, Denzel even said it too, on not training day, but what was that? Equalizer.
Yeah.
He was like, it take literally 5 to 10 pounds of pressure.
Right. To take somebody's life. Boom. Yep.
And if it's that easy, it's not as easy as it looked.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like these kids, but like I said, these kids, it's almost like they don't have a conscience.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And you know what's crazy? I'm thinking about it now. If that was a little boy and he put his hands on a teacher, it would have been the same thing, but she might have got some leniency because it's a young man and not a young lady. So, boys are stronger than young ladies. So it's like in that moment, that boy might have been locked up. So you see what I'm saying? You see, now it's different. You know what I mean? So you got to think about all that aspects. And that's why you're supposed to be professional in those moments, because you just never know. And once you're an adult, you're now liable, in the court of the law, in the school district, or whatever the case may be. And where would this happen at? What city was this in?
Somebody said it was in the Bay Area, and then I heard somebody said in the South somewhere. I'm not really sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not really sure, but I know that have been other incidents other places. But we're about to get up out of here, Derek. Thank y'all for tuning in.
Listen, no problem, man.
I appreciate you, D.
We gotta do this again.
I truly do. I appreciate everybody checking in. Thank you so much for checking into my first episode, the first of many. Fat Boy Chronicles. Get at me, you know where I be.
Peace.